Hi everybody, it's Christine here and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a She Read What, and this is one of Stephen King's, I think really underrated novels. I know he has so many, but definitely an underrated one. It's called The Eyes of the Dragon, and I was gonna sit down and do my whole paper like I usually do, but I just finished this and I had to talk about it. So this starts off in a kingdom where, of course, his father is king, but he's kind of important, but he's not really. He's not very smart. He's not very bright. He's not very handsome, but he marries this woman who is very pretty and she's very clever, and she is smart, and she kind of figures out how to rule the kingdom through him. Well, there is a magician called Flag. Flag is someone who is very, very old, and he has lived through a lot of times. Sorry, my printer instructions are just hanging around. And he has come to notice that he can manipulate the king. Well, once he gets married, he's not so easily manipulated anymore. In fact, it is very hard for him to manipulate the king because the queen just has so much sway over him. They eventually have two kids, one named Peter and then one named Thomas. Peter is the golden boy. He's the great boy. He's nice. He's kind. He stopped a horse from being put down. Instead, he rehabilitated it until it was healed. His brother is the complete opposite. He's a ditz. He's not very smart. He's easily gullible. And at one point, Roland decides to go against Flag. And Flag doesn't like Peter, and he noticed that Thomas he could kind of mold, and Thomas would do what he asked him to. So he hatches this plan to kill the king. And he wants to make it look like Peter did it. So while he is committing this treacherous act, all throughout the castle, there's these hiding places. There are places where, they're like peepholes that you could peep into certain rooms. Well, Thomas was watching in his dad's that night after he saw Flag. So he saw Flag give him the poison, and he didn't say anything. It was known that Peter took this brandy to him, but that night it was actually taken by Flag. So nobody knew that it wasn't Peter who had taken the drink to him, because his mom had previously died a couple of years actually before. So then Peter falls under suspicion, and they just so happened to find this lockbox that he knew he had because it was his, but he didn't know anybody knew how to get into it. And somebody had placed a rat who apparently they had tried the poison on before, so it looked really bad and evidence-wise. And so instead of killing him, they locked him in this high tower, and kind of like a Rapunzel moment there. And he starts thinking, or he never loses his who he is though. So with Peter being unfortunately put out to pasture, it seems, Thomas comes in and takes over as king. But really, honestly, it's Flag, because he starts listening to everything Flag says. He starts taxing people. He doesn't care if they have food. He just becomes this really terrible king, like undoing everything that his mom had previously implemented and what was helping the kingdom. So he was not very well liked. He was actually well hated. Well, Peter's friends decide to try to break him out, but they didn't know that Peter had already started a plan. When he was younger, his mom taught him specific rules, and one of them was that he needed to have a napkin in his lap when he ate. So his mom after she actually like slapped him for not having a napkin and said, "We are not dogs." So that was kind of a loving moment, but other than that, apparently she was really loving. But he asked for a napkin, and from each meal in each napkin, he would take one thread. And so he started making a chain, and he thought he would have another week, but this jailbreak happened sooner than he thought. So he had a good amount before he could drop safely. But he didn't end up dropping. And Flag, they defeat Flag, and Thomas renounces his right as king, and he decides to go on the hunt because Flag escapes. So he goes after him, and I really wish they made a book about Roland going after Flag, but they didn't. I don't think. I couldn't find any, but this is in my I love it. And it is a little well worn because I did find this at a flea market. I had never seen it, and I love Stephen King. Like, I can admit that I love reading his stuff. It wasn't that it was scary. It was the ending for me. But this book, I definitely, on my recommendation scale, I give it a 9 out of 10. Overall, I give it a 9 out of 10 because, to me, it was a really captivating novel, and it's a lot different than what you see normally from Stephen King. I really love the olden times, so like knights and kings and ladies, and so I really liked that. So would recommend, definitely. I try not to spoil too much of it. I hope I didn't. Definitely see if you can find a copy. Yeah, so that is all that I have for you guys now. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.